Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about what's happening with the processing of cases at Department of Labor. Have they started or have they not? We'll also talk about the automatic extensions of EAD that has been removed and what are the implications. What are your options? We'll talk about the inadmissibility criteria that you might think might not impact your case, but you have to be a little bit careful. And then some critical questions regarding the 100,000 visa fee for H1B, those fringe cases that we'll talk about. So a lot of packed content, guys. Watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you're here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now check out the links in the description because those are affiliate links. And if you find anything interesting, that will also help the channel. And while you're down there, put a comment in and like the video. That will help the algorithm to propagate this video even further. And I have noticed that only 40% of my viewers are my subscribers. So it will be a huge deal for me if you hit that subscribe button. Now I want to remind you of my EB1A masterclass, which is on Sunday, November 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So if you are interested in EB1A, criteria for EB1A, what are the things that are required to fulfill those criteria, pitfalls to avoid, those sort of things, you might want to consider registering for that class, and then the registration will close by end of day tomorrow. So find that link in the description. Also, if you want to talk to me, find that link also in the description of this video, where you can book 30 minutes with me to know my perspective, what I would do if I were in your situation. With that said, let's jump into the first topic of today, which is automatic EAD extension. Now here's what USCIS had published just a couple of days back. Now here's what they say. DHS ends automatic extension of employment authorization. So this was published on October 29th and it came into effect right after the next day, which was October 30th. Now new rule prioritizes vetting screening to protect public safety and national security. Now this is kind of weird because there are so many different occasions where they can just do that. EAD extension may not be the best place to do that, but because they have already vetted you so many times, what's different about the EAD extension? Maybe there was something that you did in the last couple of years, but that they could find out anyways, so let's talk about what this says. The Department of Homeland Security has announced an interim final rule ending the practice of automatic extending EADs for aliens filing renewal applications in certain employment authorization categories. With this rule, DHS prioritizes the proper screening and vetting of aliens before extending the validity of their employment authorization. Now, who does it apply to? Aliens who file their new EADs on and after October 30th will no longer receive an automatic extensions of their EAD. There are limited exceptions to this rule, including extensions provided by law or through the Federal Register Notice for TPS. Ending automatic extensions of EAD result in more frequent vetting of aliens who apply for employment authorization to work in the US. Reviewing an alien's background more often will enable USCIS to deter fraud and detect aliens with potentially harmful intent so that they can be processed for removal from the United States. So that is their premise behind saying there will not be an automatic extension. They will do the vetting even at the time of EAD renewals. Now, they also recommend that USCIS recommends aliens seek a timely renewal of their EAD by properly filing a renewal application up to 180 days before their EAD expires. The longer the alien waits to file an extension, the more likely it is that they may experience a temporary lapse in their employment authorization or documentation. So they clearly state that. The interim final rule does not affect EADs automatically extended before October 30th.
And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever done the Google search of your own name? Look what I have found when I did mine. Here's what comes up. While some of this information is relevant, the other makes me uncomfortable that my information is exposed for a sale like this. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, or anybody else who may want to target you. Your full name, email address, home address, your relatives' names, health information, it's all out there. That's why I have been using Aura, sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out request for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, bank accounts, or other sensitive information. Aura does so much more to protect my information and my family's information from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up, and best of all, I get everything for one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving your back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to my link which is on the screen and in the description and start your free 2 weeks trial. So protect your information, your family, and have a peace of mind. That's Aura.
So they clearly specify that if your EAD extension was filed before October 30th of 2025, those applications will not be affected. They will still continue to have that automatic extension of 540 days. That was the latest for the EADs. So that's what I'm assuming that they are going to keep for individuals who have submitted their application for extension before October 30th. But for those who have submitted the extension after October 30th, this will be an issue because they will no longer have that automatic extension of EAD, which means if you have 6 months pending on your existing EAD, you can work up to 6 months and hope that your extension comes before that 6 months expire, your previous EAD expires, so that the new EAD can initiate just before your previous one expires. So if that's the case, that's great. But if that is not the case, you should consider stopping your employment. You should inform your employer that your extension has not come in yet, so you are not authorized to work. So you can temporarily take a pause in your employment, maybe ask the employer to not pay you, or maybe go on an unpaid vacation or something like that. Just work something out with your employer until you get your EAD renewal. But don't get into the situation where you are working unauthorized. Now, there is a rule up to 180 days of unauthorized employment, even unauthorized stay, for the circumstances that were beyond your control, such as EAD renewal. If the USCIS doesn't issue you EAD renewal in time, that's not of your fault. So you can fight that up to 180 days. That's what the rule says. But again, you should not fall into that gray area, especially in this time. So that's what I would recommend. If you don't have your EAD extension and if you had filed it after October 30th, stop your work once your previous EAD expires and wait until your new EAD comes to resume the work. That would be my suggestion. Now, there are a couple of questions that I got regarding revocation of green cards or even denial of your citizenship. Now, this has not happened in any of the people who have directly contacted me, but I read from the news and I read from other forums where people are saying that they may get denied. Now, let me clarify what are the inadmissible criteria. And this is not an exhaustive list, but just a couple of things that come to my mind. DUI, multiple DUI, driving under influence, domestic violence, arrest warrant for a severe case. If you're put behind the bars, that's definitely going to be a problem. Then traveling outside of the United States for more than a year while you're on green card, doing things that are not in the national interest, or being part of the organization that is against the United States, those sort of things will be held against you for inadmissibility. Or if you have spent significant amount of time unauthorized stay in the US, that is also going to play against you. Now, if you have been in the US unauthorized for less than 180 days, it can be fought by a lawyer. But if you are more than 180 days present in the United States without authorization, that could get you into 3 years of bar or 3 years of entry bar into the country. And if you have been in the United States for more than a year unlawfully, then that can get you barred for 10 years. So these are the things that are normally that you need to be careful about. Now, there was a question about these traffic violations. In general, traffic violations, jumping the red light or speeding, these are not going to come in your way. But when it becomes a problem is the other day I had a call from a viewer who had traffic violations, but they were incredibly high number of cases. Basically, he had 9 violations in the last 2 years. Now, if that is the case, even if it's a traffic violation, it would be construed as a gross negligence on your behalf. They might characterize you as a person not having a good moral character, and that could be a ground for inadmissibility. So anything in excess, even a small violation, if it's more and more frequent, then that shows a pattern, and that showed a behavior on your part that USCIS can use against you. So again, all of these things should be reviewed by an immigration lawyer. Under what circumstances should you be extra careful while applying for your green card or citizenship? So hope that clarifies. If there are any other scenarios that I haven't covered, give me a call or put down in the comment section below and I will clarify those. Now, the government shutdown is still in progress. They still haven't come to a resolution. So these agencies are still out of funds. Now, surprisingly, just lately, Department of Labor, who is also part of this shutdown or impacted by the shutdown, they have announced that they are still filing, so they are accepting the LCA submissions. They are also processing the LCAs, and they are also processing the PERM. Some of the people who were in the green card process waiting for their prevailing wage, those could also be getting their prevailing wage approved. So you could still file your PERM application. Now on the LCA side, which is labor condition application, which is for the H1B extensions and all, those are also kind of being processed on a priority basis. So that's what I heard. So let's assume that the Department of Labor is still continuing to process your applications, and your H1B extensions, amendments, and transfers will be processed in a duly fashion. Now, there might be some delay because of the backlog, because they were not processing for a while, and now they are started to process again. So that's a good news. So I just wanted to kind of cover it. And now one more question that I got regarding the 100,000 fee. Now the question is, if you are doing extensions of H1B from outside of the country, so outside of the United States. So if I understand that the question correctly, if you had an H1B and if you have been having an H1B for a long time, and if you have an extension approval while you are in the United States, I think you are exempt from that 100,000 fee. So if you have an approval while in the United States and then you go out of the country to a consulate abroad in India or somewhere else and apply for your visa of approved extension to come back to the United States, I don't think you have to pay that 100,000 fees. Now, where things are different is if you had H1B for a long time in the United States and then you ran out of H1B, now you went out of the country, you are living outside of the United States. Now, after a few years, now you are applying for a new H1. So company applies, so you want to move back to the United States, you found an employer, they filed your H1B. Now this time you don't have to go through the lottery, fortunately. You will just have to get your H1B approval. But again, to enter the United States, you'll have to get an appointment at the consulates, and that is where you will have to pay the 100,000 fee, because this is now a fresh H1. Even though it's a cap exempt, it's a fresh H1 from outside of the United States. So that is the clarification I wanted to make in this particular scenario. Hope that helps. And then the last question I wanted to address in this video is about EB5. What's happening with the EB5? Now, some people are saying that EB5 is going away. EB5 is not going away. It's by statute, it's by Congress. So until Congress decides that they want to scrap EB5 program, it's not going away. Now, the regional center program has been extended to September 30th of 2027. So it will still be available for almost 2 years from now. So take advantage of it if you are qualifying for EB5 or if you are wanting to apply through EB5. Also, there are a lot of questions regarding being stuck in the EB2 and EB3 backlog if you are an Indian citizen, and what are the different avenues that you can use to get your green card faster. Basically, they are EB1A, EB1C, and EB5. So if you want to get in touch with me regarding your situation, I can provide you some advice on which route you should take. And if you're interested in my EB1A masterclass, it's happening in 2 days on Sunday. It's happening on Sunday on October 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Find the link for registration in the description below. And if you like the content of this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you in the next one.